Hi, this is Sandy B. Welcome to the 90 Day Wins Podcast, episode 10. Come get your wins every 90 days. I am so excited to share with you the 90 Day Win Podcast, where we talk to regular people living their goals, achieving their goals a quarter at a time. How do we win as a community? This episode, I talk with business owner, goal-getter Kia Douglas, and she shares with us how she encourages the community to win, how she works in her business of 10 years, her childcare center that she has been a partner of, and she has really poured her heart into flourishing this business for 10 years. She talks about some of the challenges she faced, and then also she shares some of the excitement and the joy she gets from serving the community in this way in her small business. You listen to hear how she uses her work with Acclaim Academy to fuel her passion. As we all pivot in this changing environment, we are forced to deal with the things that we have to take care of. But it's so important to realize that we all are in this together, right? And it's good to know that we're leaning on each other as a community. That's what it's going to take for us to move forward. So you think about the small business owner who has that childcare center who is preparing for your child to come back. That's exactly what Kia is sharing with us, how we as a community have to look out for each other, how we have to give each other the tools, some of the experience that we may have gained, working with kids from 1 month to 12 years old, children in the Germantown section of Philadelphia. That's a community where she is working along with the other business owners to make their small difference and to collect those wins by working together, whether it's educating parents on some of the things they can do in this time when they are home with these kids, or even the teachers to be able to work with parents as they are going through and experiencing some of the trauma and the stress of this new state that we all are in. So you don't want to miss this episode because you will be encouraged as a business owner, as a community person, resident. You want to be involved and you want to know that other businesses, small businesses, people just like Goal Getter Kia are thinking about you and how they can better serve you in this time. So be encouraged and be inspired on this episode of the 90 Day Win Podcast, Community Wins. Hello.
Hello
I
there.
am excited to be talking today to Miss Kia Douglas. How are you, Kia?
Good. How are you?
I am well. So we are here in quarantine.
Mm.
How is quarantine going for you? How are you dealing with COVID? We just have to be positive, right? So how are you doing?
This looks like a vacation for me. So I'm a person who usually works 12 hours plus a day. So this is great, actually. Very
Yeah.
relaxing.
Yes, well, I'm so glad to hear that. So, with all these hours you're working a day, could you tell the listeners what you do and a little about your business?
I, I own the childcare center, Claim Academy in Philadelphia, Germantown section, for children 1 month to 12 years old. And we will hit our 10-year anniversary on June 10th.
Wow.
Right now, we've been closed under the quarantine since March 16th.
Yeah.
But we've been very blessed and hit, a few struggles along the way in our business. But it's been a great experience.
Well, Kia, I must tell you, 10 years, that is really amazing. Any business to be around 10 years is to be celebrated, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And with us having such, I'm not going to tell how many years we've been friends, but us having so many years of friendship and just knowing, to see just all these years and all the things you guys have been able to accomplish. That's pretty impressive. So congratulations on that. 10 years
Thank you.
is nothing light to look at all.
You were
So
there when the dream happened.
yes,
You in
yes.
bed and you guys praying with me. So yes.
Yeah, you're one of the people that I look at when I see anything at Claim Academy. I must tell you, put things up often on social media. It is just a feeling of encouragement and excitement, and just knowing that, I know the people that own that business, and I know the people that work within that community, and my love for Philly. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty cool. So, with the 90-day wins, we're all about achieving our goals and being purposeful and putting our plans in place with our 90-day plans. And you and I have talked about this staying home, this vacation that you've been on.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way you call it a
It's a
vacation.
vacation, yes. Because I would
Yes.
never took off any other time. So yes, it's a
So
time to self-reflect.
Well, let's talk about that, because one of the things I remember you sharing with me is that you have all these kids. So, on a daily basis, how many kids would you be around?
Mm. Well, over the past 10 years, our highest enrollment was our capacity of our building is 187. Our highest
Okay.
enrollment has been 165. Right now, we're
Wow.
at like 100, and that's extremely low, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, but those are my children.
They are. And I remember you telling me that years ago. So I believe they are in some precious hands, because you and the staff are equipped and been, just really mindful of the planning. Can you share with me some of the experience when you first started out with your uncle and some of the things you guys put in place? Can you talk about some of the time you spent planning for your center?
Well, this is like a real deal situation. So I was working, how it all began, I was working as a director of a childcare center with another lady. And my uncle came to visit me one day. And he said, when he walked in, he just looked around and saw all the children. And he said, numbers just start going off in his head of, wow, this is a great business. And he always wanted to have a homeschool, like a homeschool situation for boys, like a boys' school for only boys, like a
Yeah.
military type thing. And
Okay.
he shared that with me. And something that happened in my job where I was frustrated. And I read an article in Reader's Digest, which I never read. And it said, when you're frustrated, fill out your resume and send it out to people. And in your mind, that lets you know you have other options, even if you're not pursuing it. And I had no intentions of leaving my job. So I
Yeah.
looked in the paper back then when jobs were listed, and there was this job that said 90% travel. And I was the type of woman that I wasn't getting on the plane by myself ever in my life. I always had to be with somebody because I was scared. And this
Yeah.
job said 90% air travel. So I filled it out to there thinking I wouldn't get it. And sure enough, got the job as working for the Goddard Schools franchise office in King of Prussia as an operations specialist, which went to 22 different states the 3 years I was working for them, and opened the business from as it was being built, working with the franchisee, marketing the program, enrolling the program, just supporting the franchisee.
Yeah.
And my uncle said to me, take that job. When I received it, which was a $5,000 pay cut, but he was like, take that job and learn all you need to know, and we'll open up our own center. So over that sometime, I wouldn't say when I first started there, maybe within my second year working for them, we began to work on a business plan. And my uncle, my aunt, and I met monthly, and we wrote out our business plan because his degree is in business, went to Hampton and Penn State, his master's in business from Penn State. And we literally had these long, boring meetings on creating our business plan. And then, sure enough, a year later, I put in my resignation and we opened up our childcare center.
Awesome.
And then we're in a program in Pennsylvania called Keystone Stars, which is a quality initiative program. I think it's in Delaware and North Carolina also. And we were able to meet our Star 2 requirement in the first 6 months of operation, and Star 3, I think, by that next year, which
Nice.
I believe is probably unheard of. So we were blessed to I was blessed to get the knowledge I needed. From my first boss, she taught me the street way to do things. And then from Goddard, I learned the legal way to do things. So those two things made it a power business with my uncle's background in business, which I have no clue about. Whereas I'm over operations and he's over the financials. So together we make it work.
Very good. I love that family working together.
Well, for some reason, my uncle and I work great together. No other family does. No other family member, but my uncle and I work great together.
Yes. And, that's how it is. Everyone doesn't always have to believe in the vision, but everyone can pull together and work with each other when need be, right?
Right.
And you guys definitely do that because I've seen that. So describe to me what a win is for you with, all the different things you are responsible for. What is a win for you in your endeavors at work?
Well, I would say first thing, when I first started my first director job, my mom said to me, recognize that you are responsible for the lives of children. And that's the deepest thing you can ever tell me, that I have to depend on someone else to make sure somebody's life is a still living child. So therefore, the best thing I can do is be an on-site owner. And that's why I work those 12 hours days, because I want to make sure everything is on the up and up, and everything is that my staff are held accountable. Parents are so easy to say, oh, I love that teacher, but you don't know what happens with that teacher behind the scenes and what gets put in that teacher for that teacher to be the best teacher that you may see.
Yeah.
So 100% being there, and just the working and training other people. The efforts that you have to put in to make sure your business run, because nobody's going to run your business like you would.
Yeah.
Basically.
So you being able to know that you're there and the job is being handled, that's a win to you.
That's a win to me. That everybody's safe. That's a win to me. My cell phone number, my emails on all my business cards, my parents' phone numbers are in my cell. They can call me at any time. That's how we promote our business. And quite frankly, I don't want no calls unless it's something on a good thing. And I'm happy when I don't get any calls. It's a happy life. But I like the fact, that connection that families know, and I think that's our selling point, that they have a problem and it doesn't work out with the teacher, that we are there for them. And and you only need to tell me one problem, and it's not going to happen no more. And it's a learning experience for everybody. It's not a bad thing. It's a learning experience for everybody.
That's good. So let's talk a little more about that, about families and a learning experience. We all are in one. I'm not a teacher, Kia. I went to school for accounting.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I were just talking about how parents are spending a lot more time with their children.
Yes.
Husbands and wives are spending a lot more time together. So what would you encourage parents who are, what are you telling your parents right now who may be calling you saying, you know what, Miss Kia, this is tough. This child won't do this, won't do that. I'm having a rough time. What would you tell these parents right now?
Well, even before I tell the parent, we always tell the teacher in orientation, you have to educate the parent. So you need to give them the tools. So the first thing I did when we closed down was I sent my parents, and I sent my parents a schedule telling them your child needs to eat from 7:30 to 9, needs to eat again at 11:30 to 12. Their nap is from 12:30 to 3, and their snack is at 4:30. And then I even put in there the time that they can do an activity. And when they need, these children are used to going to the playground and to the gym at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
They're going to be running around your apartment or your house and you don't know why. And that's why. And I thought about my parents who have multiple children. Like that's one thing we didn't expect in our business, to have multiple children, families. And, how many times these children are going to want to eat if they're bored. You know what I mean? So putting them on that schedule of letting a parent know and not to feel guilty that you only have to feed your child these 3 times a day. Don't let boredom, make you broke, basically, and think that you
Yeah.
have to continually feed them. Just like, you might be in your apartment now or house, continually going to the refrigerator and wondering why. It's because we have nothing else to do. So giving my parents the schedule was the best tool I could have gave. And I know I feel like they thought I was crazy at first, but then one parent texted me and was like, can you send out that schedule again? Actually, the grandmother texted me and asked me, can I send out the schedule again? And that grandmother is a director of another child care center because she was my old assistant director. So that tells me that they recognize that these children should be on the schedule, and they can, the parents, it's a transition. The parents had to learn how to get involved with their child throughout the day and help the children with their norm. Because on a regular day, if that teacher calls out, that child is out of whack because the sub I put in there does not know the normal schedule of that child.
Okay.
So that was the biggest tool I could have shared with my family, is just their daily schedule and keep them on it. We're actually considering going on Zoom and allowing the teachers to do activities with 1 and 2 year olds and 3 to 5s. I don't know how that's going to work, but we're going to try it.
Yeah. Well, I think everything that educators can provide as tools for parents, because no one expected to be out and pretty much out of school for the whole year.
Right.
No one expected that. No one understands what that looks like, because when I hear states are opening up, what does that mean for school? They've already decided school's closed. So what is the person that has to go back to work supposed to do when school is not open and they can't send them? What are they supposed to do? So it just seems like it's a hard situation, but it's just amplified if you can't figure out how to, like you said, spend the time with your children and find a way to keep them as comfortable and yourself as comfortable as possible in this situation.
Right. Like I have a parent who calls me. She's been calling me bi-weekly, and she's shared with me that she's an LPN and she only gets to work 1 day a week because she doesn't have childcare or someone to watch her child, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, we can't, our transitioning opening back up is first of all, it's confusing that we're not getting the guidance. Like I'm waiting for the email from the guidance to tell me what to do. And that's a whole nother situation right there. It seems like, it's left up to every childcare center. And that's the problem right now, that every childcare center is not on the same page. And it should start like that from the opening process, that you're giving these quality guidelines, just like the Keystone Stars program I mentioned. That shouldn't be volunteer and who wants to join. That should be, if you decide to have this business, you all have to open up on these same standards.
Yeah.
And it's not like that, which is very displeasing. So with the parents, the best thing that I can even do is, like I imagine, how am I going to get a 1-year-old or 2-year-old to keep on a mask? So we're actually working on a survey right now to send out to our parents that are asking those questions. Does your child wear a mask? Do you wear a mask? Have you worn a mask? Not to discriminate against who's going to come in, but, just to put a plan in place of how I need the parents to start letting the kids wear the mask now. Because if that'll be our norm for the rest of the year, let's not, as they always say, let it fall on a teacher let's let it start with the parent at home, and then it'll be a great transition for us to all be safe if we do have to open back up.
Makes perfect sense. So, with that, how can we use, I always talk about our life lessons. So, how can we look at these lessons and think about how we can move forward?
Well, right now, even my staff, we've been blessed to still be paid by the state the last 2 months. So we've been able to maintain most of our staff, and we had to lay off a few.
That's not
But the ones that are working from home are like they're required to do 4 lesson plans a week, take one training, and provide me with some either activity or a parent education activity or article to share on our social media page.
good.
So right. So right now we like last week my staff participated in a trauma education course. So basically the trauma that is being impacted on the parent and the child right now during this. It's probably some depression out there. It's, lack of food. I sent out a diaper thing of where to get free diapers on my social media page, and I saw that had 96 hits. Whereas my article on how to do a little activity with your child only had 12. So providing resources for parents in this time and helping and supporting them is the best thing that my teachers can do too. And shoot, they might have the same situations, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But just recognizing that there is trauma in this and self-care during this time of, woo-sawing, so to say, or putting that plan in place, a meditation or, resources or educating people on resources is one of the best tools that I can share right now. I found out that one of my friends who owns a childcare center lost one of her children at her childcare center due to the parent beating her 7-year-old to death. And what does that look like? Well, and honestly, the first thing that came to my mind is that child was probably going in that refrigerator all day. How, I don't understand what you would be upset with a child for to that degree, but it also is a lack of education of what to do with your child, or maybe some people have problems with interacting with their child. And the children, not to mention, that need services that were getting those services in school, and because of social distancing can't get them at home right now. That's a big problem as well.
But that's why I think it's such a good idea for you and your team with continuing to reach out to your community by providing the services online so they can see, parents can see, even just being able to call, and to talk to you about what they're experiencing and be able to brainstorm on ideas and different things they can do. Because I think in this time we're seeing that we're definitely all in this together. Our community, we are banding together and working together, and that's what it's going to take for us to get on the other side of this.
Mm-hmm. That's the great part about all this.
This is Sandy B, and I am excited that you are here and you chose to listen to this podcast so you can be encouraged and you can go get your wins, because you too can be a goal getter. If you'd like to hear more, feel free to like, subscribe, and share. Download this podcast, share it with your friends, and leave a comment, leave a review. Hopefully it's positive. We will definitely take those, and just continue to allow yourself to plan and prepare and envision your 90-day wins. Enjoy.
Can you share with me some of the people that encourage you? So we talked a lot about your business, but I want to talk about Kia, the goal getter, because I know you are always looking at new and different things. And so you're always, like you said, you like to work hard, but you also like to play hard too. And then I just want to talk to you about some of the people that you look to that encourage you we call them trusted advisors. And I think that you just shared, I believe, based on what I know, you would say your uncle is one of your trusted advisors. So, what are some of the things that you look for in your trusted advisors that you would be willing to share? And why do you think it's important to have people like that as you go along? Because you've been able to accomplish a lot. We talked about all the different things you've done and all the things that, you are excited to do, especially you just have a heart for the community. So, who are the people that keep you encouraged? This is a lot um, to be responsible for so many little people that, just those little eyes and those little hearts that each day that you're working all these hours with. How do you stay motivated? Who are those people? And kind of, could you tell us a little bit about that?
I think I would first have to say my uncle. And even though you said like a family business, we try not to even look at our business like a family business
Mm-hmm.
because my uncle will be critical of me and my decisions, and I'll be critical of him. And it's funny, I only get to call him Uncle Joey on Thanksgiving and Christmas. When he's at work, it's Joe, which I'm that niece that respects my uncle, and he's always been Uncle Joey, but it's Joe at work. Um,
Yes.
but I would say he would be the first one because he is very business conscious, and we pin ideas off of each other.
Awesome.
And he knows, unfortunately, like I'm that one that has his back, and I know that he's the one that has mine. And I'm sitting here thinking, even now, like if something happens to him or me, how do we move on? Who goes in one of our places that will have that much dedication? And honestly, I don't think it's anybody,
Yeah.
which is a sad thing. So even at one time, we opened up a second center, and it met the star 4 requirement in 10 months, but we had building issues and lost our building. And at the same time, even that experience taught me that I realized that blessing was just to show me that I can do anything I want. I can achieve any goal anytime I want. And that was the purpose and sacrifice for that building, was for me to
Yeah.
learn that lesson. So other than my uncle, I would say it would have to be my friends. I guess I'm blessed to be around a bunch of ladies. I can say even men too. I can go from you, Sandy, with your accountant business, Cher with her tea business. My girlfriend Jacola, she's in banking, and she went off and started a baking business. Growing up, well, not growing up, but Novin
Yes.
Troy with his businesses. We've been lucky to be surrounded by entrepreneurs, and as they say at Livingstone College, it is what you make it is. So we
Yes.
are that generation that if we wanted something, we had to work hard for it. And I remember selling little candy now laters in middle school, and bracelets with your name on it, baby bracelets back in the day. So I could at least say I've always had that in me. And
Entrepreneurial spirit. Yes, Kia.
yeah, and let me say, childcare, if you do it legally, it's no real money in it. I was making more at Goddard, to be quite honest with you. But it has to be the passion there that you want to do something different. And like I am really blessed right now because when I first got into childcare, when I moved from Salisbury, North Carolina to Philly back in 2002, those children are the ones that are graduating high school this year that I first had in childcare as infants and 1-year-olds. So to even see that and being tagged in their little pictures on Facebook, that's a blessing right there. That they still remember their child care director, not teacher, but their child care director, and that I was something positive in their life back then.
Amen. Well, you know what, friend, you are, and I always admire the love you have for just giving to people, and to see the way you're doing it in your community, I think is an amazing thing. So I need you to tell everyone, because we have listeners all over,
Mm-hmm.
how they can get in touch with your center. People know people all over, and I definitely have people in Philly. So tell them how we can get in touch with you with your social media.
Okay, so we are on Facebook, which is the most active, Instagram, which I'm learning, and Twitter at Acclaim Academy, ACCLAIM Academy Early Learning Center. on the social media. And our website is Acclaim Academy, PA, as in Pennsylvania.com. And my email address is on there. I even do free consulting. I'm a sharer and a giver. So
Yeah.
I share what I know so that you don't make the mistakes later.
Yes.
That's the best way to be. So you can ask me a question at any time. If you're in the business, I will be more willing to share and just talk to you about what's, I feel some type of way for people that are actually stuck in any type of business right now in the process of opening during this time. So if that can be in help to even any other business in regards to building codes or anything like that, I would be more than helpful to share that information.
Well, I thank you so much, Kia, again for being on the 90 Day Wins podcast.
Come get your wins with the 90 Day Wins podcast, where we talk to goal getters. You can check us out at 90daywins.com. That's 90daywins with an S.com. That's our website where you can check out our blog, where we give more in-depth notes and conversation about the interviews with our goal getters. Also, you can check us out on social media, 90daywins.com. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. This is your host, Sandy B, and I'm encouraging you to go get your wins every 90 days on the 90 Day Win podcast.